strikes again. It's what he does.
One-legged.
24-23, the Packers come back to beat the Chicago Bears.
No Bears.
If play calling is what killed the Bears, if they had given the ball to Jordan Howard on that 3rd and 5,
Yes.
he might not get in, but I'd rather go for a 4th and goal from the 1 that he's going to get you to than kick that field goal.
Yep, that didn't help him.
The Bears were doing so great, to open the game. They started with 3 running backs in the backfield. Why didn't you do that more? It clearly confused the shit out of the Packers, who was getting the ball. You do that near the goal line, you're golden. If they do that on that 3rd and 5, stack the 3 running backs behind, they have to stay true to all 3 running backs. You have to dedicate a linebacker to each of those running backs. And what's going to happen? That means your tight end's going to be open over the middle. You call a fucking option. If you see that the tight end's going to be open, you pull it from the running backs, hit the tight end in the middle of the field.
Great. But they also, defense couldn't stop anything. They couldn't stop Aaron Rodgers. They were leaving wide receivers wide open in the middle of the field. Randall Cobb is standing there with no one around him. You have a 20-point lead. You can't just keep letting it happen. Eventually they'll catch up.
Mitch Trubisky looked like a real quarterback, though.
Yeah, that's a nice thing. But Mitch Trubisky also ended up, for that 4th and 5, wide open, Trey Burton. Literally, it was like the Red Sea parted.
I saw.
Parted. And you couldn't make that throw.
I saw.
You know what? He looks, physically, in appearance, a lot like Tony Romo in his helmet, I noticed. I don't know why.
All right.
I don't know if that's a good thing.
Interesting.
Curse him out there.
We're going to let you take this next one, Dan O'Shea.
All right, so we're talking Rams-Raiders.
The other Monday night.
The New York Jets defeated the Detroit Lions 48-17.
And how did that game start?
Go. It started with a pick 6 from Sam Darnold, his first ever NFL throw. And now, because of the rest of the play of the defense and of Darnold coming back from that, that's just a fun stat line.
I do just want to correct ESPN. Sam Darnold's first touchdown pass was not to Robbie Anderson. It was to Darius Slide.
Fair enough. He also joins the likes of Brett Favre and Jameis Winston to be the first, or be quarterbacks in their first NFL throw to throw interceptions for a touchdown.
Oh, well, right now, Jameis Winston ain't looking like too good of a comparison.
No, Brett Favre's not bad.
That means he's bound to be a sex offender, I think.
Exactly. They're sending dick pics.
That's a good point. That's a good point. He's definitely not going to fare well in this Me Too movement.
No.
But
keep him away from Josh McCown's daughter. They're the same age.
The Jets looked good, but I don't know how much of it.
It's weird.
I don't know how much of it was the Jets looking good, or particularly the Lions looking bad. Because they looked bad. Patricia didn't look like he could disguise anything from the Jets. The Jets players said after the game that they knew all the hand signals. They knew what was coming. That is not a good way to start off the season. Not to mention, I'm hearing rumors that the Lions wanted Jim Bob Cooter to be the head coach. So now they're rebelling against...
We all wanted Jim Bob Cooter to be the head coach.
Obviously for the namesake. But what I'm saying is they're apparently rebelling against Patricia. They don't like that Patricia is making them run sprints after they commit penalties in practice. First of all, you're a grown-ass adult. Do what you're being told. I don't give a shit. You're being paid millions of dollars. If the dude wants you to run up a hill and then backpedal down with a backpack with lead, I don't care. Do it. That's what you get paid for. Shut the fuck up.
We get 2 I can't rants from Tony tonight.
Seriously, shut the fuck up. I don't care that you don't like how you're being coached. Guess what? Don't play a fucking sport then. Go work at fucking McDonald's.
Right. Their issue isn't he's not taking risks. He's not pushing us enough. He's not calling plays the way we think he should be calling plays. It's he wants us to do things.
He has won rings with the Patriots. The fucking Lions have never been to the Super Bowl. Maybe you should listen.
In all fairness, the Patriots' defenses have historically been shitty.
The Lions have never made it to a Super Bowl. Let that sink in. Not one, never made it to a Super Bowl. Have not gotten there. So whatever advice, they could have hired a guy from McDonald's. If he can help you, you should probably listen.
That's a good point. Anyways, so Jets absolutely shellacked the Lions. Rams, Raiders. Obviously the Raiders.
The Lions might be the new Browns.
Maybe.
They made the Bills look pretty decent. At least the Bills had an excuse. They were playing outside in the rain. You were in a climate-controlled environment where it's 72 all the entire time.
All right, and Tony, why don't you take this last one, Rams versus Raiders?
Rams versus Raiders. Actually, better game than the score indicated. The Rams were, in my opinion, the Raiders were in that game for 3 quarters, and then when they got down, they tried to throw themselves back into it, which you can't do against a Rams team that has that much talent on defense. So, I don't know. I mean, I wasn't able to see the entirety of the game, but the Raiders looked better this year. In that game, the score was not, to me, a good representation of the game as a whole. I don't know if you guys got to see the game at all.
Yeah.
I do agree with you that it was a lot closer throughout most of the game than the final score indicates. But my one thing is that I think Gruden was coaching fine. You know, you're going to have an adjustment period with a new coach always. But I'm worried about Derek Carr. He looks scared.
Yeah, 3 picks.
Yeah, I think Derek Carr is looking scared to begin with because he's coming off a season statistically last year where he drastically underperformed. Something needs to happen, and I think Gruden needs to build his confidence back up because I think it's gone. I think it's missing, and he needs to find it. If he can find it back to the year where he was leading them back in the fourth quarters, he could be a different animal because I like the way that Gruden's running that offense. They're coming with an attitude, and Marshawn Lynch sets the pace with that. And Cook looked unbelievable. I slept on Cook, and I apologize because he looked great.
He did. 8 minutes left in the fourth. The Raiders are marching down the field looking great, and then Carr throws a pick, right near the end zone. That it looked like it was a completely foolish play. Like I don't know how he threw that pick.
He made some questionable throws, and again, I think it's confidence. I think he was worried. I think the moment became too much for him. He needs to get the confidence back. I mean, that being said, it's hard for me to gauge where they really are as an offense when you're going up against arguably one of the top 3 defenses in the NFL right now. Not to mention with all the additions they made, possibly the best defense in the NFL.
Yeah. That being said, I think the Raiders as a whole look okay. I'm worried about Carr, and I like Carr. I hope he gets past whatever this is. I hope Gruden's mentorship can help him with that. But I am worried about him.
I mean, I think a lot of us are worried about him because, as you said, he is potential to be franchise quarterback, one of the best to ever play for the Raiders. But not if he...
His ass until then.
Right, not if he's timid and...
He's got to get back to where he was when he was leading those fourth quarter comebacks. Gruden's got to figure out how to boost his confidence and do it soon because he can't keep playing scared.
He needs to call the Corona hotline.
Maybe he does. Maybe Romo can help him.
Maybe he needs to drink 4 Coronas before he goes out there. Calm down.
Possibly.
Yeah, maybe that's it. I don't know.
You think that could help?
Why not?
And what was your strategy? Well, my strategy
just drank some beer.
Was there are 3 people in the middle of the field wearing the same color jersey. I throw to the one in the middle, and the other 2 somehow catch it.
I think it's shit-faced just to take the edge off. There you go.
I don't think drinking 4 beers before you play in a football game is just taking the edge off.
Stagger them up.
I don't know. They're big guys.
Speaking of hilarious post-game interviews, did you guys see Aaron Rodgers' post-game interview?
I did.
No, I was in bed.
He was high as a kite on whatever painkillers he had.
Oh, yeah. Of course they gave him
Oh, my
painkillers.
God.
Dude had to do it on one leg.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It wasn't like he was just like, smoked a joint or something, but he was high as hell on whatever the painkillers that the Dilaudid or whatever it is that they give him in the IV. Oh my God, he was hilarious. Go watch that interview if you haven't.
It's fantastic.
I went to bed and the score was 20-0. I woke up and it was 24-23.
Yep. Aaron Rodgers, the king of the... Do not count out Zeus. This is why he's the god of the gods.
Oh, I just want to say, in that Bears game, Khalil Mack, obviously you know what he is, but Roquan Smith in his first fucking play, absolute monster.
That linebacking core is going to be a problem for years to come.
It's like the new Urlacher-Cox combination.
Yeah, it is. That had to be what they were going for. Had to be.
Okay.
And they got it because Khalil Mack showed that he's worth every penny of what he's getting paid.
What's your fantasy team name, baby?
Oh, Return of the Khalil Mack.
Return of the Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
Fair enough. It's truth now.
All right, so that's our NFL breakdown. So really quickly, we're going to do this thing where we talk about overreaction based on your team and their performance, and then we're going to do a hot take about any other team in your favorite team's division. I'll start just to provide some context. Overreaction about my team. Man, that Cowboys defense will keep them in any fucking game they play this year. That defense looked great.
Okay.
All right. They looked good. Good defensive effort. They were all over the place. Sean Lee looked good. DeMarcus Lawrence looked good. They looked like... The secondary didn't fucking suck. They looked good. Obviously, overreaction that they're going to be great. Hot take about any other team in my division. Adrian Peterson, MVP.
That is a hot take. I will give you
That
that.
is a very hot take.
I will give you that.
Do you see how he was playing? It's your MVP. Well, co-MVP with Baker Mayfield.
Right, of course.
Who wants to go next?
I'll go.
All right. What's your hot take about, or I'm sorry, what's your overreaction about your team?
Overreaction about my team is New York Jets are your Super Bowl champions behind Sam Darnold's 10,000 yards.
10,000 yards! Are you on what Aaron Rodgers was on?
Yes. No, it's obviously overreaction, but Jets looking a lot better than what everyone said. As I told you guys, don't sleep on our receiving core. So I'm of course ecstatic after last night's win. Hot take: Bills winless.
Ooh,
Ow.
that's a hot take.
That is pretty out there.
It's a hot take. Who's next?
I'll go.
All right, what's your overreaction for your team?
So my overreaction is Josh Allen, good quarterback, in the sense that he didn't throw any picks.
There you go. What's your hot take for any of the other teams in your division?
Oh, hot take. Let's say Isaiah Crowell, running back MVP for the Jets this year.
Oh, that is
He had that big 62-yard touchdown or whatever it was.
Yeah,
That is
last night.
probably the hottest take I've ever heard.
I mean, we forget Isaiah Crowell's pretty good. He was on poop.
He was good on
Cleveland
poop.
for a long time, and he was injured all last year. He's actually, if you look at his stats, his rushing stats aren't bad. He's actually been a pretty good running back. He's just been overlooked because he's been playing in garbage.
Yeah, it's a good point.
He was a good fantasy flex last year, definitely.
Tony, your final.
Overreaction. Saquon Barkley sets the rookie rushing record, even if he has to do it on 1 or 2 carries a game. Because that's what he's going to have to do. He's just going to have to bust it off for 98-yard rushing
Twice a game.
and he'll be able to put himself there.
Still no touchdowns.
It is an overreaction, mind you. That being said, my hot take is that if they continue to play this way, the Eagles don't make the playoffs.
That's I love it. Successful.
That's a hot take.
That is. I think this was a fun experiment.
I think that the Eagles played like shit. They don't look like they have any rhythm at all, and they got lucky by the fact that